What are you doing in your free time now?
Okay. All right,
I'll tell you.
guys. It's been amazing. Quite a few years that we had this great program called Power Up Thursdays with Rabbi Uri Nahum and various speakers that we invited throughout. And today it's really we're graduating. We finishing this project at the program, and we're starting another exciting program in about 2 weeks. But so this is sort of like a graduation. We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna summarize what we gained from this program, and just for those of you who don't remember, this program didn't start out of nothing. It was one time Rabbi Nahum called me, and he says, "I'm here on Ocean Parkway at Avenue P, and I see a lot of Kafkazi guys here. Why are they there? There's a boy, young Kafkazi boy, was murdered, Natik Nasimov, if you remember him, and a lot of guys came there." And Rabbi Nahum told us, you should go and meet them and invite them to the classes. And that's when we had this conversation. So let's do something together. Let's do a class for these guys, for young generation, the guys that were born here, the guys that grew up here. We'll do like a program in English. It will be a class of Torah. We'll bring in people who will be good role models for the next generation. And that's basically how it started. And Baruch Hashem, throughout this, it's been 3 years? About almost 3 years, and we see a lot of guys grew tremendously. I know guys that started keeping Shabbat. I know guys that got married and had a real chuppah with even separate dancing, and in a kosher place. And I just see a lot of our guys also teamed up and started business projects together, and a lot of stuff even we cannot calculate right now. Maybe take another 20 years, we're gonna look back and say, this special group of guys that we had here and the special rabbi that we had here, he really created a tremendous push for us in many directions in life, and he created a tremendous source of energy for years to come. And Baruch Hashem, I'm very grateful to God, Hodol Adonai Kitov, Ki Olam Chasdo, that he gave us the opportunities, to give us the rabbi to teach us Torah for all this classes, and we're very, very happy and very fortunate that we had this pleasure. And Albert, can I have this white board over here? This white box. Wow. And Rabbi, we want to present to you, this is nothing to what we really owe you in our gratitude, but it's a symbol. It's a little token of appreciation. It says here, Educator of the Year Award, Rabbi Uri Nahum.
I thought it was 3 years.
Well, you had this year. We waited till the end,
But just like
we're afraid if we give it to you early, you run away right away.
You said my name wrong, right?
No?
Okay.
Oh my God. So it says here, Rabbi Uri Nahum, Educator of the Year Award. Thank you for your guidance and inspiration. Your teaching and mentoring had a great impact on our spiritual growth. And you've been really a mentor and a teacher and a friend to many of us. And Ashreinu Matav Hilkeinu Sheish Lanu Rebbe Kazeh. Thank you very much.
Wow. You make me breathless now. Thank you so much. This is really means a lot.
Давай.
Not of the year. No. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So we'll ask the Rabbi to say a few words.
Wow, great. Okay. I didn't start this way, guys. I don't know what you did to me.
it's because of us now. You guys
This is why I'm leaving. Okay. So, the secret really why I'm here is to get seltzer. And others, they don't give seltzer, as you guys know. Let's start a little bit like this. So actually, it's been a real great pleasure. It was a heavy decision to leave, to stay, to leave, to stay. It was really not something that I decided in like one click or whatever. I thought about it a long time. This week I'll start from Midvar Torah in the parasha, and then we'll take it from there. We'll see it from there. It was like to start from Midvar Torah. This week's parasha, Parashat Lech Lecha, we're introduced to, I guess you could say, a new character, a new person in the Torah. If you're reading the Torah from the beginning and you don't have any background, you're introduced to a man named Abram. Now we know that became Abraham Abinu, the father of the Jewish people. The Islam claim they came also from maybe, yeah, okay, fine, he did come from, okay, but it's he didn't like that guy, he kicked him out, but he stayed with us, right? So Abraham Abinu is a new character in the Torah, and we find throughout the parasha there's something a theme that keeps on repeating, and it keeps on coming up again and again. Abraham Abinu is 75 years old. He's told by Hashem, leave your place, go to a different land, and I'll bless you. And what's that blessing? 7 different blessings over there, but mainly centered around the fact that you will have children. We continue in the parasha. Abraham Abinu goes to war. Excuse me, before we go to war, Abraham Abinu has Lot. Him and Lot separate and hurt Abraham a lot. Why? He didn't have any children, and Lot was kind of like a child to him, or at least a continuation, and it was very, very painful on Abraham Abinu's part, but things had to happen that way. Okay, so he lost a family member again. Another concept that has to do with children. Later on in the parasha, we find Abraham Abinu going to war, and again there's a discussion about children again. What happens over there? The king of Sodom says, you take all the money, I'll take the children. Abraham Abinu says, no, I'll take the little children, very, very young, and you take the money. I'm not taking a penny from you. Again, discussion about children. Move on, Brit Ben HaBetarim. Hashem talks to Abraham. He tells him, you're going to have this, and you're going to have that, and you're going to have this. He tells him, but Hashem, there's no kids. I have no children. If there's no children, what is it all worth? So we come up again to this discussion. Abraham marries Hagar, who was supposed to be a maidservant. Why? So he can have a child. First pregnancy, she has a miscarriage. Second pregnancy, she has Ishmael. Finally has a child. But it's not the child that he wanted. Finally, at the end of the parasha, Hashem tells him, do Brit Milah. We're getting ready for next week when he finally has a child. And if you think about it, a lot of the parasha is centered around children. What is so important? I mean, we all know children, of course, it's a continuation of a person's life. But if, you think about it, somebody was telling me about how he's fundraising for a certain school. Now, the school is not known to be of the greatest, academic level. And he was telling me how this rich person and this rich person are so impressed with the school. So I said, where do they send their children? If they're so impressed, how come? And I realized that people are ready to give up everything in their lives, but at the end of the day, their children are the main things. And that's really what it is. And like the rabbi said beforehand, Baruch Hashem, I've seen this group grow, I'll tell you a joke before that. We like jokes around here. So there's this guy, he entered this elevator, and he, those elevators that in the city where you could see outside, they were like, just a minute, you could see everything outside. So he was on like the 150th floor. I don't think they have such a floor, but whatever. 100, you'll work with me here, okay? So he was very high up. And he's looking down, he sees a small little dot. Very little dot, like this big. Okay, he doesn't know what it is. He's looking down. He goes, what's that dot? As the elevator keeps on going down, he's realizing that this dot is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And he's going down. He's by the 80th floor. This dot is getting bigger. And he's seeing a shape of a person. And he's getting more. That's the shape of a big person. And he's getting more. And that's like 20 floors. He sees that it's a cop. A big, muscular cop. You could pick what color you want. Anyway, he comes down all the way. Finally, the elevator door opens. And there's this big platform, there's this big cop standing there, and the man gets out of the elevator, he runs over to the cop, he gives him a big hug and a kiss. And the guy looks at him, he says, do I know you? He's like, what? I knew you since you were this little. I don't want to say, you guys are the same size, maybe with the food it got bigger, I don't know, okay, pizza, I don't know how much, a lot of carbs, but, Baruch Hashem, spiritually, Baruch Hashem, I did see a lot of milestones by you guys. Whether we spoke privately or whether, we did speak privately with a lot of guys. And we see from the questions, even in the chat room, when we're talking halakha, the type of questions that were and the type of questions that are. And the whole is very, very different. In Baruch Hashem, you guys grew tremendously. Your classes grew in quantity and in quality. And you've grown even literally in not just size, but you have wives. Some of you have children, Baruch Hashem, been blessed with children, and the children are on the way, B'ezrat Hashem. And it's you're forming into a kehillah, you're forming into a real community, and it's wonderful. But now the children are here, right? It's time for me also to focus also on my children. Right before I came here, I was supposed to be here at 8:30, and I promised my kids when I come home, I'm going to learn with them. One thing for another. My schedule has gotten very, very, very busy, and I realize that this is something that I have to put more emphasis on. It's, at the end of the day, as successful as you can be outside in the world and everything else, but at the end of the day, our children have to come first. And I keep on saying that message, and I was thinking, well, why don't I live that message? Why don't I give more time to my children? So I was late to come here. Why? Because I said I was supposed to learn with you. Abba, don't you have to go? No, I don't have to go. We took out a book. We learned. It wasn't long, but the idea was that we spend quality time. We try to spend quality time. My whole day, I'm dealing with children, believe it or not. I've graduated. I don't know if you call that graduation. I think it is, but I went from adults to now involved in schools where it's around children, and it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing because they're at the age where you could still shape them. You guys, Baruch Hashem, you're already riding your bikes on your own. You're already good to go on your own, but you're at the next stage. Your children are now in the forefront, or at least preparing for your children in the next generation. And that's really what Abraham, you see, Abraham was pretty successful. Abraham was very wealthy after he came out of Mitzrayim. Abraham, it says in the Gemara that he wrote a book of 400 volumes on just the concept of Avodah Zarah. One of the stuff that we have left over from Abraham is Sefer Yetzirah, which is a very deep Kabbalistic book. Abraham Abinu was a very highly successful man, but he was ready to give up everything for his child. That we'll see in next week's parasha. At the end, he gave it up all for Hashem. But it was the emphasis again is the children. Yitzhak Abinu is the same thing. We're introduced to Yitzhak and Rivka, very little in Hayesah, but when they're in the spotlight, it's again centered around children. And Yaakov, centered around his children, the Shevatim. And not only that, you go to Sefer Shemot, where the Jews are already in Mitzrayim. Rav Hirsch points out, the Torah emphasizes again, Ishu Beto Ba'u, when they came as families, people and their families. And that's really a lot of what we do in our lives. Yes, we spend more time outside of our families than within our families, but it doesn't mean anything. Like I said that story with the 5 minutes with my kids, as long as the emphasis, the main thing, it doesn't have to be the longest thing, but the main thing has to be the main thing. The main thing has to be expressed and it's internalized within us and given over to our children. This is the main thing, that where our families are directed, how they're growing, and that we have a great relationship with them. So this is kind of, like you said, a graduation. It is a graduation, Baruch Hashem. You guys, Baruch Hashem, you've grown, and you should grow much more, Be'ezat Hashem. You should continue to be successful in everything that you do. Hashem should direct all of us in the right way, and especially you guys, and this Kehillah in the right way, Be'ezat Hashem. And there's still a lot more. But now then, we have to start preparing already for the next generation and kind of like put that in the forefront. It's not just us, Baruch Hashem, it's unbelievable. And for those who are not there yet, Be'ezat Hashem, you'll get there. If you're not thinking about it, think about it. It's very good. Don't ask the guys. Wait till they have a few drinks. I mean, maybe before the drinks. But then, right? It's a very different level, but it's a very important level. And I thank you. I thank Rabbi Fine for giving me the opportunity. Really, my wife and I have had many conversations about the privilege I've seen. That I played. He's saying I played a role. I guess I played a role a little bit. Okay, major. But I value it very much. It's definitely not something I forget. But again, like Rabbi Zimmerman, if you remember from Yeshiva, yes. He said a great line, and I just will never forget this line. He says, when you're young, the hardest choices are between good and bad. The older you get, the hard choices become between good and better, and you have to choose. It's very hard, because they're both good, they're both important, but you have, that fine line, and you have to know what's, where to draw that line, and that's where it really comes down to. And Be'ezat Hashem, again, should bless everyone. And we should continue to grow, and we'll meet again. I'm here, I'm not going, it's not everybody texts me, where are you going, Rabbi? I said, what? So there's a farewell party. I don't know. That's it. It's marketing. I know. I don't want to blow your bubble, but yeah, that's it. I said, yeah, come, I'll tell you. That's it.
Good, you played the Lord. Okay.
Got my certificate, I'm good. I graduated, okay? Where's my test? No, I'm kidding. Okay. So, Hatzlacha Rabba again, and Be'ezat Hashem, only good things. I turn over the camera.
Okay. L'chaim. Thank you, Rabbi, to you.
I'm driving.
Okay, we're gonna go around the circle and very quickly, just say a line or two. What you gained from the project? What do you gain from this experience called Power Up? Why?
I don't know what they're gonna say.
What they're gonna? Maybe we're gonna say it. Yes, come on, Izzy.
Say your name, your social security. I mean, what? No.
I'll tell you that most of the guys here spiritually have grown up tremendously, and our goal was to, and I think everyone, like in general, people ask me what's the goal of Beit Jiro, and it's to grow the next stage of leaders. And not only, Rabbi, have you made us spiritually grown, you've helped us help others to grow. Personally, me, you've given me a lot of guidance. We've met personally one-on-one many times. You taught me who to. Sometimes you told me what to do, and then more importantly, you told me what not to do. Yeah, in terms of and Baruch Hashem, the last 3 years, I've had the opportunity to be with Beit Jiro. I've had the opportunity to get married. I've had the opportunity to make literally my closest friends are in this room, and before that, I didn't have any of that, and I want to thank you for that, Rabbi.
Ooh, Benny, you're up next.
But I met Rabbi Ephraim at Gordy Wednesday, not Power Up. And from there, I never even thought about, I went to yeshiva till 5th grade. So I never really thought about keeping Shabbat kosher. It just never occurred to me. And from here, I got Kiruf. I started getting closer and closer, wanted to learn more. And Baruch Hashem now, keeping Shabbat kosher, all that. So that's what I got from Power Up, from Beit Jiro in general.
Huge. Thank you. Save you up.
So I found out about this class after meeting Rabbi Ephraim. He said, go to Rabbi Nachum's class. It's very good, you learn to young guys. And in general, he's a very good rabbi to have a relationship with. So I think you'll get a lot of value.
You're the one who sent him.
I get royalties.
Whatever I get, you get 20%.
So the most valuable thing I got from the class was a relationship with Rabbi Nachum. He's my main source for halacha and all these questions, and I got to have a kosher wedding based around
Nice.
all these, all this guidance and what not to do. Very, very important. And of course, through the class, I learned a lot. I grew stronger and all these wonderful people. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Rabbi. Yeah.
I'll keep it short, Rabbi. From this classes, I got everything. I got Shabbos, kosher, the road to come pretty much.
Wow.
Thank you for that.
Wow. Thank you.
I wasn't told by Ephraim. I was told by Arkady. So I was here from the beginning, but you taught many people, me and people that were older than me, because I'm technically the baby here, that what Shabbat was, what religion is, and we learned more just by sitting here at this table and just laughing and joking, and then seriously learning Torah, what it means to keep Shabbat, what to do, what not to do, why we do what we do. It just makes us understand more, and we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So how did I start coming to these classes? I used to get a lot of text messages every day. Class today, class today, class today, and I always ignored them. And then one day I was like, let me just come in, and I knew it was something about Judaism. And I did Rage, I did the Israel trip, so I was like, yeah, let me just come. And after that, I stayed for the classes. The classes were interesting. I knew I just knew what Judaism was, but I didn't know how important it was. And after that, I learned more, and I started keeping Shabbat, kosher, and all the whole 9 yards. I just want to thank the rabbi for showing that.
Wow, Hazaku Baruch.
I want to thank both rabbis. I would say the classes was life changing, learning Pirkei Avot and getting the rabbi's explanations and having a new perspective on life, so to speak. Definitely helped me in life, helped me with my work. Like the last thing the rabbi said that we touched on, there's a million things that we learned, but the one that the rabbi just mentioned with the choice between good and better, and that's something I was actually thinking about last week, recently just came to my mind. So all these little things that just help me throughout life, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Hazaku Baruch.
I didn't come to this class too much.
Skip.
But it's basically when I became religious, right? It was very easy for me because I had a lot of friends. There were a lot of friends that were doing it with me, every day, every Shabbat, 20 people, 30 people, we're having a blast. And that's on the seaside. You guys did the same thing on this side. You guys did the same thing on this side. You know what I'm saying? Which is beautiful. You guys all, everybody's well going together as one, and it should become. More people should come, and more.
Sitracha, the other side.
Thank you guys, because you guys obviously took care of that.
Everything's been said already pretty much, but I definitely agree with everything that has been said by the guys over here. Rabbi, I want to thank you for being who you are, for being able to come down to our level and convey and explain, things, information in such a way that is so simple to understand, whether it's Pirkei Avot or thank God now in your Gemara class and your Shul over that avenue, which I'm very grateful for. 2 years ago, you would have asked me if I'm going to learn Gemara, I would have been like, you crazy, what Gemara? It's not, so thank God we made that progression. And I think, thank you very much. Thank you, Rabbi Frein, for being supportive and pushing and always making things happen and being so energetic and easygoing. Thank you, Rabbi.
Pleasure.
I want to thank both of the rabbis. Rabbi Frein, thank you for creating this class, giving us an opportunity to meet each other, and to bringing all of this people into my life. Rabbi Nahum, thank you for being a role model. You helped me a lot to make very important decisions in my life, and thank you for that.
Did you want to say something?
Well, I wasn't in this class because I lived in Washington Heights. I did it twice.
What would you say if you were?
What have you seen over the last 2 years?
But since I'm part of Beit Joro and I've seen all these pictures and I've seen the growth, and I just to see the way the guys are learning how to put on the talit and tefillin and how to blow the shofar, I think it's something you learn and stays with you forever. So it's thank you for that, and thank you for the WhatsApp group. It's a great help, even though it's not in person, but it's really, it makes a great impact.
Right, before we start off the live streaming, I wanna share with you why we really got together today. No, we're launching a new project. It's called Leadership Fellowship. Okay, well, let me start from the best part. The best part is you get a free trip if you participate in this group, in this fellowship. You come for the sessions, whatever it is, 20 sessions throughout the year. Next summer, summer 2019, we gotta go on a trip. It's if you participate in the sessions, it's paid for, and it's 2 weeks in Israel, and two and a half days in Kafkaz. Basically, as of right now, it looks like we're gonna stay 2 days in Baku and maybe a day in Kuba. That's what it looks like, considering all the security issues in the other locations. But it's subject to change. But for sure, this is gonna be one of the most amazing experiences in your life, for sure. So sign up right now. Go to beitjoro.com/trip. Sign up. Tell your friends, because we want to make sure that everybody has a great time. So bring your friends, bring your family. It's boys and girls. It's a co-ed trip. And for all the single guys in the room, who knows? Maybe you're gonna meet your shidduch there. If not, you're gonna make some good friends for sure, and some good memories for the rest of your life. We're gonna in Israel. Already spoke about the trip with we're doing it together with Rage, right? They're helping us organize it, but it's gonna be basically Beit Joro trip. All the art guys and girls, and it's gonna be a few days in Tveria and Tzfat and Yerushalayim, all over the place, and in Baku and Kuba. So, what? 2 weeks in Israel. 2 weeks, nothing like that. And if you want to stay longer, you can stay longer. They'll hook you up with yeshiva and with the educational programs, whatever fits your level, whatever fits your interest. It's really all available. So, It's really a new milestone in our development, in development of our organization. We're teaming up with the major organization Rage, and this is a huge thing, guys. So sign up, be part of it. I don't know if we will ever have this again, but this never happened before. Definitely an amazing opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about the price afterwards.
Well, first Rabbi Nahum says I approve this message.